I'm joined by University of Central Oklahoma quarterback commit Carson Trimble. Carson, thank you for taking time to talk to me this evening. Could you start by telling the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself?
So I'm a quarterback out of Grove, Oklahoma. It's kind of a small town up in northeastern Oklahoma in the corner. I've been a 4-year starter at Grove. I'm from a football family. So my grandpa is an OC. My uncle is a DC at Jinx. My dad played college football, and he's got a bright offensive mind. And you can imagine how like our family get-togethers are. My favorite things to do are just train, break down film, talk about philosophy. I really enjoy that stuff. So
now, you said you come from a football family. So does it ever get to a point where it's like you need that break from football? I feel like that's just all around you.
So mom shuts it down a little bit after football season ends, but we try to get back rolling again real quick. So never an off switch.
And so, like you mentioned before, maybe not a lot of people have heard of Grove. I know recently because of your teammate Emmanuel Crawford, it's kind of gotten some buzz around the state.
Yeah.
But like, what is football like in Grove, Oklahoma?
So for a long time, it really wasn't great. And that's probably why you haven't heard about it as much. So it's kind of been a lackluster program for a while. And then, the past few years, our culture started changing a little bit. We started winning more games. Me and E-Man started playing a little bit. And then we just kind of took off from there. So.
And you mentioned you were a 4-year starter. So now how, because when you walk in there as a freshman, obviously 13, 14, you're playing with teammates much older. That's a lot of pressure regardless of where you're at. How are you able to step into that starting quarterback role as a freshman?
So I kind of had no choice. The way it happened was the starter got hurt. We didn't really have anybody else, and we just had this freshman on the roster. So I had to grow up real quick. But I've always had that like just even keel attitude, and nothing really gets too big, nothing's really too small. I mean, just go out and ball. So.
And that first varsity game, what was that experience like?
So my first start was week 4 against Miami as kind of a rival, and it was homecoming night. Like I'll never forget it. So my first pass of the game, I kind of scrambled around and I threw like an 80-yard touchdown. That was my first career touchdown, and we went on to win that game. I threw for like 280 yards and a couple touchdowns. So it was a pretty fun night.
And so at that point, because I imagine, how were you feeling going into that game? Like, were you confident that you would be able to answer when your number was called, guide the team to win, or did your performance kind of surprise you there?
Oh, I was ready. I was confident and very calm the entire night, like just having fun out there.
And so obviously that's an example of when things are going great. Now, obviously, as a quarterback, sometimes things don't go so great. So how are you kind of able to not get too down on the lows and not too high when things are good?
Always got to focus on next play. Like when things go bad, you jump to next play, something can happen. Then you get some good momentum going, and then you're right back on track. So.
And so I guess when you were finally entrenched as the starter, did that change how you went about this? Because obviously you're from a football family, as you mentioned, so I'm sure you were already watching a ton of film, receiving tons of advice. But did your preparation change from when you were the bag up to when you kind of became the guy?
Not really. I mean, I've always had the mindset of like going into games, even when I wasn't starting those first 2 games of that season. I always went in with the mindset that, I'm one play away. I got to be ready to go, and I prepared it. So.
And you mentioned earlier that you enjoy to watch and break down film. Now, when you are watching film, like what are some of the key things that you always kind of look for and make note of?
So the biggest things we like to do are just see what their base defense is, see what kind of coverages they like to run. And then one of my favorite things to do is see what they do on 3rd and 4th down. Like, are they a team that brings pressure? Is there a guy who really steps up on 3rd and 4th down? Because that's where I make most of my plays is on 3rd and 4th down. So,
and this season, you all 13-1, 7-0 in district. First to start out, obviously 7-0 in district. That's tough to do in any district, in any class. How are you all able to get the clean sweep?
So it was really expected this year. Like last year we were in 4A and we move up and we were actually the smallest school in 5A this year. But it was expected to win the district, and we just came in, got better every single week, stayed focused, and came in prepared for games, and just showed out.
And I know the season it didn't end how you all wanted it to end, but for your first year in 5A, I mean, to go win the district 13-1, make it to the semis. I mean, that's a heck of a accomplishment there. I mean, I just so when you kind of look back on that part of your season, the success you've had in a new class, what kind of will you, I guess, remember the most about this season?
So the main thing that I will remember the most from this season, and it doesn't just go to this season, but all 4 seasons, is that the culture change at Grove. You know, like I mentioned before, like it was kind of a lackluster program. When I was in 7th grade, we went 1-9, and I would watch every single game, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. So to see that gradual, steady jump of success every single year was really cool to see. That's what I look back on.
And you mentioned the culture change. So now, because how are you all able to change that culture? Because it's not as easy as it might seem to just go in there and turn it around. I mean, it's a day in, day out thing that you kind of build toward. So how are you all able to come in and leave the program to where it is now? So
it all started in the weight room and off-season training, and back in the summer and weight room, you got to work hard in there. And then we started really focusing on practice, not taking practice for granted. Don't take reps for granted. Always go hard every single rep. And it really translated onto the field, and it showed.
And when I was watching your film, I was trying to really get a feel, because you can do a lot of things. The first thing that jumped off to me, I think like one of your very first highlights, you busted a run. And I first thing I saw, okay, this man is clearly explosive. But the more I watched the film, I'm like, he has a good deep ball. He puts air under it. You're able to fit it in the tight windows. What I came to was like, he's an explosive gunslinger type. Like I feel like if you feel like you can make a throw, you're gonna make the throw. How would you describe your game?
So my game is I'm gonna come in prepared. And I'm going to run our offense right, and I'm going to execute the offense first and foremost. I'm going to do what my coach wants me to do. But then, obviously, like you said, I'm athletic enough to make plays with my legs and extend and find people downfield and just make plays. So I would label myself as a playmaker. I just do whatever the team needs me to do.
And now, so because there were times where you kept the play alive by keeping your feet moving, by kind of dancing around. Like, when do you kind of know, okay, I need to get rid of it, I can afford to kind of keep buying time, or I need to take off? Like, how do you kind of, in that split second when there's guys coming at you, to know what the right decision is?
It's all just a feel. And then part of it, you have to know, like, what down it is, what kind of situation it is. Like, do we need to stop the clock quick? And so it really depends on just down, and then you usually just feel it.
And when you're throwing in the tight windows, there was one, I can't remember what I'm talking about. There was a touchdown you threw. It was in between 2 defenders. It was a pretty deep pass too. So, like, how do you? Because I mean, I feel like that's a risky throw. I mean, there's 2 defenders. The window is tight. There's a small margin for error. So, like, obviously, you have to trust your arm. But like, when you, how do you fit it in there to where you know, okay, this ball is going to be on the money, and this man should catch it?
So there's got to be a lot of trust in the receiver. So I trust my guys. And then there's preparation going into that, to where I knew what the defense was going to be in and what they were going to do right there. And then just confidence that I was going to make the throw. And I just knew that was going to be a play to make right there. So.
And when throwing on the run, I noticed that some guys, they kind of lose some zip on the ball. Yours seemed to maintain it there. How were you able to still get kind of your full strength behind you, even though you're not set?
So it used to not always be like that. I'll be honest. Took a lot of work to get there. A lot of training, and it's really just mostly about staying relaxed. And I figured out that this season, like, the more you stay relaxed and just everything you do, the better things turn out, and that it goes with that. So,
and when you take off, I mean, it's like you shot out of a cannon. I like there was a few. It's like, okay, he's taking off, then boom, and I'm like, where did this speed come from? So when do you kind of, I mean, obviously, besides there's a lot of green in front of you, I should run as fast as I can. But like, how do you kind of decide, okay, when to turn on the jets and when to maybe scramble enough to get some yards and go down?
No, so I'm actually a track guy. Like the past 2 years, I've been in the finals of the 200 and the 400 of the 5A state track meet. So I'd say I'm a pretty fast guy. But really, I just have a theory of, like, when you're running as fast as you can, when you have that speed, if you just run as fast as you can, good things are going to happen. So if you see this little seam, you got to hit it as hard as you can.
Now, because I know sliding, okay, that's the thing. You didn't seem like the type of guy that like to slide. Do you just like the contact, or is it just, I'm going to keep fighting for yards until I physically can't? Because, like, you, Mason, Steph, like, y'all just don't slide. It's like, what is this now?
Well, so I'm pretty good at taking care of my body. Like, sometimes I feel like I can make a play and then I don't go down or go out of bounds, but I'm not afraid of going out of bounds. I'll live for another down. And but if you can make a play, might as well make a play.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. So now your recruiting process, because now you committed to UCLA, I believe, way back in March. So what was your recruiting process up until that point like?
So my recruiting process is probably pretty unique. I mean, I did the whole camp circuit. I was traveling around, emailing coaches, DMing coaches, not having very much success, probably because of my size. But mine was probably very unique because I already knew about UCLA. I was very familiar with the program. I went to camps there for the past 2 years before. I knew they had great facilities. I knew that they're like the 5th winningest D2 program in the country. Like, probably not a lot of people know that. But I was very familiar with them. And then after my junior year, me and my dad sat down and we're like, all right, we're gonna list 5 schools that would probably be interested in me, and I'm really interested in them. And I put UCO at the top of the list, and then they just happened to be the first one to offer me. And then I got to know the coaches really well and just realized how great of a coaching staff and how, like, they make you feel like your family, make you feel very comfortable. They seemed a little bit different when you're talking to them than the other coaches. And then after all that happened, I was sold. I knew what to do.
And you haven't wavered from that. Now that especially in this day and age, I feel like that's saying a lot. So, like, what is it about? Because you mentioned the coaches, you mentioned you're familiar with the program, but, like, what has sold you so well that even we're here about 9 months later and you're still firmly wanting to be a UCO Bronco?
So I'm just a very loyal guy. I mean, I've been at Grove basically all my life. I went to school here since 1st or 2nd grade. So I'm just a loyal guy in general. But obviously seeing Coach Dorrell get hired was a big thing for me, and seeing the success he's had prior. And then I just see the potential there. It reminds me of my situation with Grove, where there's just a ton of potential. And they're just waiting for the right leader to come in there, right coach to like come in and change the culture like at Grove and get the ball rolling, win some games.
And now, because I talked to Mason last week. Now, it would have been very easy. You were committed. You see another quarterback commit. You go elsewhere. So now, of what I understand, you and Mason are on good terms. Like, you're looking forward to competing against each other. So what? I guess so. Like, when he did commit, did that even remotely cross your mind? Like, okay, they're bringing in another quarterback, or is it like, okay, that's just somebody else I now have to go in and compete with?
No, absolutely not. So when I committed, the coaches got very honest with me. They're very honest people. They're like, we are going to keep recruiting at this spot because we're thin here. And I understood that, and I was okay with that. And then me and Mason, we go way back. I mean, we've been competing against each other since 7th grade. We know each other real well, and we're going to keep competing at UCO, and it's going to be fun, and we're going to make each other better, and we're going to compliment each other, and it's going to be a great experience. So,
I guess my now I don't know if now because I mentioned this to Mason, but you're going to get to learn from not only one of the best quarterbacks in the conference, but in the country, in my opinion. In Stephon Brown, tremendous leader. I know the guys respect him. They play hard for him. What kind of are your goals for your freshman season?
So I want to get acclimated into the system. I want to just immerse myself into that playbook. And then with Steph, I mean, super experienced guy. He's been around the game for a long time. So I'm definitely going to be able to learn from him. And I'm going to have a good experience with him. And then, you know, also, I mean, Peyton Thompson and JD, they've been around the game for a long time too. And they're really smart guys. So I'm excited to learn from them.
And I guess my final football-related question for you would be, what can UCO fans expect to see out of Carson Trimble in a UCO uniform?
So what they can expect from me is an extremely hard worker. I mean, I usually pride myself on being the hardest worker in the room. They're going to get a really loyal guy who's going to stick around and buy into what the coaches are saying and buy into the program. And then they're going to get a really tough guy. And I'm going to make plays when I'm on the field, and I'm just going to be a tough sucker, dude.
Well, Carson, before I get you out of here, we do this with all the new guests, kind of some more my questions. Now, I know you said earlier you enjoy watching film, and that's fine and dandy, but now I had to ask the question because I can't let you slide with that. Because I usually ask, what's your favorite hobby outside of football? Now, you could say watching film. I'm going to still consider that football. So what is your favorite hobby outside of football and watching film?
Don't get me wrong. I still got a life outside of it. Don't worry. Don't worry. So Grove's actually on the lake. So I like to do a little bit of wake surfing. We got some jet skis out here. That's really fun during the summer. And then I golf a little bit too.
Okay. Now with the jet skis, because like that, I feel like that's probably more of like a balance thing. So like how long did it take for you to become a competent jet skier?
I'm just natural, man. I'm just natural.
So there was no rough period where you was falling out. You just hit the wall. Okay.
Just get in and get going.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, your favorite sports team could be any sport.
Man, so I'm not really a big pro guy. So I usually like to watch schools, and I'm a big college football guy. So I'll watch schools that which either have my favorite quarterback that year or like offenses that I like. So Bryce Young's my favorite football player. So I've been watching a lot of Bama lately. Okay.
Now, do you feel like he should have been a Heisman finalist again this year?
So I still stand firm that he's one of the best football players in the country. Just what was around him didn't really help him get into that consideration. I was fine with the 4 finalists. So I still think Bryce is the best quarterback.
Okay. So now I know you mentioned that. So I know you said you're a fan of college quarterbacks. So if you had to name your all-time favorite college quarterback, who would that be?
That's a tough one. That's good. When I first started watching college football, that's when Johnny Manziel was getting pretty popular. So that he kind of has a little stigma in my mind. So I probably have to go with him.
Okay.
He's really fun to watch.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Your favorite food?
Ooh, I'm a big steak guy. I like steak.
Now, are we rare, medium rare, or well done?
So I usually go medium, but my girlfriend got me to switch it up. I went medium rare last time. That was pretty good. So I might stick with that.
So, now, if someone came to you and said, Carson, how do you want your steak? What are we going with, medium? Or are we going with medium rare?
I think we're gonna go with medium rare. I think we're gonna switch over.
So now, what is it about the medium rare that surpasses just a regular medium?
Because I think restaurants get it wrong and they actually cook medium as well done, and then medium rare is medium.
Okay. Okay. So in order to get your medium, you got to get it. Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Your favorite TV show?
I'm not big on TV shows, to be honest. We can go with like Outer Banks.
Okay. Now, are you a gamer at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are we Xbox, PlayStation, or PC?
I know people are gonna hate me for this. I just know it, but I'm an Xbox guy. I always have been.
Okay, now I want you to know you're in the minority, but you're not alone. So out of the people I've talked to, the only Xbox guys is Coach Doro, Coach Curley, and I think one of your punters, Bo Phelps. So there's three of you. The Xbox guys.
We're rare.
So I have to ask, why are you Team Xbox when everybody else is Team PlayStation or PC?
To be honest, I'm not really sure. I've just always been an Xbox guy, which I really don't spend much time on the new Xboxes. I spend all my time on my 360 because I'm a big NCAA guy.
Oh, this is fantastic. Yeah. Okay, this is great because I talked to Danny. I think it was Tuesday. He's an NCAA guy as well. Okay, this is fantastic. Now, it's just like the only game I still play. I have my 360 as well. It is loud as a lawnmower.
It's so loud.
It's still so
loud.
Now, I have to ask. Now, when it comes to dynasties, all right. Now, do we low lock cheese in the recruiting though?
Do we do what?
Low lock cheese. So, like, if you wait until weeks like 5 or 6 and you go into recruit, there'll be, because it's like a glitch in the game where there'll be 5 stars and 4 stars that have no offers, and you're able to pretty much take your pick and offer and give max points.
I usually like to play my dynasties pretty legit. So
okay, good, because Danny over here was trying to justify that. I was like, come on, now, you can't.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you can't. But you can't be. Oh, good. Okay, good. Now, do you have a favorite scheme or playbook?
So, I like to usually customize mine. You can imagine that. But if I had to go with like a base one, I like to spread the best.
That is good. That is good. I will say the default air raid is really good too. I ran that in a dynasty because I'm a Jay Norvell guy. So I was really intrigued by the offense he kind of built at Nevada, where he had those like big receivers and that like thunder lightning backfield. So according to the updated rosters, like that was the best playbook. So it was good. I mean, that's a good playbook. The default pistols fairly good as well. And then the one I'm using now is Troy. It's also it's really good, but it's also a lot of stick and like slant, so it's kind of cheesy, but so so okay, very good, very good. Let's see. Okay, now do you have a favorite team when you play NCAA, or do you just kind of choose the worst team and just start a dynasty?
I like to switch it up a little bit. I usually start with a bad team, and then I'll move around a little bit with my coach. I like UCF a lot, though.
Okay. Now, are you using the updated rosters or the default rosters?
I'm using they're from last season, so pretty updated. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they just finished the revamp one.
Yeah.
Even though it replaces, I think, New Mexico State, UMass, and App State, and UConn. But like before Team Builder shut down, I snagged the Georgia Southern, App State, and Coastal, so I just replaced them. But okay, good. This is good. Okay, good. Good. Okay, this is good. This is all right. This is a good. Like most people, I say that they kind of look at me like you're playing an 8-year-old game, and they're like, yes, I am playing an 8-year-old game.
I'm there.
Are you kidding me?
I heard they were delaying the new one. I got so sad that day. That was a rough day for me.
I did too. But my thing is like, if it takes another year for them to get it right, yeah, it's like, I know that's another year of 14, and at this point, like I know how to beat the game, so it's just more of like, I got to limit myself in recruiting, or maybe I just start an all walk-on dynasty, or just, but it's like. Because like seeing how Madden isn't really too inspiring. I guess is like
for real.
My thing. I think it's going to be on the same engine. Oh, it's so bad. That's why I still play NCAA 14, because the 8-year-old game on like a 2 console generation older system is still better than current. But no. Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay, good. There's some NCAA lovers on this team now. Very good. Very good. Oh, that's fantastic news. Okay. Let's see, your favorite musical artist.
So I listen to everything. So it depends what kind of mood I'm in, but a lot of people won't know this guy. I'll go with Daniel Caesar. He's like an R&B guy.
Okay. And you have a favorite song by him?
Oh my gosh, I got so many. Maybe I listen to a lot of music. Maybe Japanese Denim. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Do you have any pregame routines or rituals that you normally do?
So, I'm a little bit superstitious. I would say that. So there is a kind of a lot of things that I do. I mean, I don't try to do them, but like I do them though. So I usually wear the same underwear every Friday. I'll go to Subway with my buddies for lunch. And then we always do the same thing for our field walk. So
now, do we get the same order from Subway?
Absolutely, for sure.
And what is that order?
So I go just Italian, just white bread. I go ham and bacon, and then we'll toast it. And then I go spinach, banana peppers, onions, salt and pepper, and then the vinaigrette.
Okay.
No cheese. Can't do cheese.
Okay. Well, that's all I have for you, Carson. I appreciate you taking time this evening to come on and talk to me. I know you probably can't wait to go ahead and put pen to paper in a few months and make it official. So I'm looking forward to following your career, and if you want to come on again at any time, just let me know, and we'll be happy to have you back on.
Sure. I really appreciate you. You do a great job with your content, and I really like what you do. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Carson. I really do appreciate that.